It's me. Okay, if you haven't seen it, I'll link below. Rhett Shull did a review on the Player Series Acoustisonic from Fender. And it's actually a great video. The track he did was amazing. I loved it. And I'm a fan of Rhett Shull. I love his videos. I watch most of them. He's a great player. I love No One Good Trouble. They're amazing. So this is not hate at all, anything negative towards Rhett, but I do want to respond to that video he did on the Acoustisonic, and I want to kind of mount a defense for this genre of guitar. Now, I don't play an Acoustisonic. I play the Taylor T5Z. But it's the same kind of thing. It's an acoustic and electric guitar. I chose Taylor over Fender, but I have a lot of friends that gig Fender Acoustisonics on a regular basis. And so what I think, where he kind of missed the mark is, he mentioned two types of players. He mentioned the person at home, right, the regular musician, like just a regular person playing at home for enjoyment. And then he mentioned guys like him who are touring with a band, big touring musicians with a band. You know, some they may or may not have roadies, things like that. And I think he's correct. For those two types of people, you probably don't want to go with an Acoustisonic. If you're playing at home, even for the $1,000 Player Series he had, well, buy a $500 guitar and a $500 electric and a $500 acoustic. And if you're touring, hey, you may even have sponsored guitars. So guitar companies might give you one. But yeah, you can have two because you have infrastructure around you to bring multiple guitars. A lot of those guys have 3, 4, 5 guitars on stage with them at the same time. But you miss a big group of guitar players, and that is the solo musician that loops. And there's a lot of us out there, and looping to varying degrees, and I've did some videos on looping before, so if you can subscribe or check out my channel and see some of those other videos. But for those of us that are solo and that loop, we can't bring a bunch of different guitars with us. Changing guitars is not feasible. Another area where he's right is these hybrid guitars are compromised. Whenever you make a hybrid of something, there are some compromises to make. This Taylor is not the best electric guitar in the world, nor is it the best acoustic guitar in the world. But when you're playing in a bar for a bunch of drunk people, they're just not going to tell. Let me expand a little bit further. I want to mention two things about this genre of guitar, the Acoustisonic and like the Taylor T5Z, and there are others. Number one is logistics, and number two is the rig. First off, logistics. So when you're doing solo gigs, you're the chief cook and bottle washer, man. Everything comes down to you. Whether you are the sound man, you're the guitar tech, you're everybody. Okay, and so carrying around multiple guitars and carrying around amps and carrying around all of this gear just isn't feasible. You need to be able to load in and load out efficiently. And if something goes wrong and you're running late to a gig, you do need to be able to set up. Like, I have my setup dialed to the point where I can get it going in 15 minutes. And I can break it down in 10. And making sure multiple guitars are in tune and making sure that all that stuff is just too much. You can't do it when you're solo. If you can make your rig as efficient as possible, I do the most with the least. Shout out to Keith Williams on that one. Now, the rig. Now, the T5Z is a little bit different than the Acoustisonic. So let me talk about the Acoustisonic a little bit. And where I just think he was off a little bit is he ran it into the 2-rock. I have a 2-rock back here. That's probably the best possible amp he could have run it into. But basically, they're made to go direct in. And the best results I've seen live have been using a Smolder pedal, which is an acoustic overdrive that Fender makes, and the Acoustisonic, and they run that into a looper and then into the PA. Now, running it direct, like that, like even the electric guitar settings, that has a kind of like an amp modeler on it. So if you run a model into, like if I ran my Dream into my 2-rock, it just wouldn't sound right because it's too much filtering. So it really needs to go direct in. And the guys I know that gig with the Acoustisonic get a good sound out of that. It doesn't really have an onboard EQ where this does. I think that's an advantage to the Taylor. But you're going into, I have a little Bose soundboard that I hook up to my Bose systems. I have the whole Bose shebang. But I can tweak the EQ to get it frequency-wise where I need to be. And you can get great sounds. Now, how I use it, and I'm going to put a video at the end of me gigging with this guitar so you can kind of see how it's used. With the Taylor, I have my acoustic tone, and it has like a form of the Taylor expression system. But then I can switch to the electric mode where I then have, there's a humbucker under here, and then this is a stacked single coil in the bridge. So I can use it like, and it's more of a regular electric guitar sound, and I run that through my UA Dream electric guitar pedals. I have an octave pedal to do bass guitar sounds, and then I have a drum machine inside my RC500 so that I can put together full band sounding loops with just this and my pedal board. And so the same with a lot of other guys that are doing this stuff. And like I said, for us that are solo acoustic musicians that are live looping, having one of these type of guitars is huge. And he asked, I guess, kind of asked the question. He said, I don't know who this is for. Well, I guess this is an answer. So it's not meant to be hateful or anything to Rhett. It's just the stuff that I do and the stuff that a lot of my friends do that are, in the scene up here are a lot different from the experiences that he has. So I can understand where he's coming from. But I just don't want to have these guitars dismissed without their due. And for live looping and solo musicians, man, these guitars are really indispensable. They're really awesome.
Baby, I got your number, and I know that you got mine. You know that I caught you in time. You can call me, baby, you can call me anytime. You got to come. Well, I don't want to leave you lonely. You gotta make a change my mind.
I know the title was a little dramatic, but don't hate the player, hate the game. You probably would have clicked on it if I said something, less provocative. But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff. Try to throw some links down below to Rhett's video. Check that out for the different perspective. And remember, it's always about the song. Deuces.